listeners, welcome to Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. If you watched the last video I did a couple hours ago, we talked about this gal that went on a date with Alpha Chad, and she had her date paid for, and more than likely she folded her up like origami, or he folded her up like origami, and all of a sudden she's leaving feminism. No, it's just another Alpha Chad widow. But I will tell you what will change your mind about dating and women in general and all the things. And that is going to be when a woman puts you through the ringer. Now, when I posted these things on Twitter, a couple of people pushed, not a lot, but a couple of people pushed back and they said, you're always the guy that's like supportive of men going through this stuff. And you always say how you relate and you feel bad about what they're going through. And you're usually pretty on point with this. How are you going to call out somebody and make fun of them and laugh as they go through stuff? Well, I'll tell you how I'm going to laugh. Destiny has been on the Whatever podcast, I believe. I'm pretty sure he's been on Fresh and Fit. I know he's done a video with like Rollo Tomasi, and he's been out there with other content creators that are in the men's spheres of content creation. And in one interview, and I don't remember which one it is, because I'm not going to pull it up, because I did a bunch of these last time I talked about them, which was just a few weeks ago. But, in one of them, he said, basically, you have to be more masculine. You have to be more in touch with your feelings to let your wife go off and sleep with other men, because she's going to come back to you, and she's going to love you, and she's going to be with you because you're awesome and you're great. And he says, basically, he understands the dynamics of relationships better than all of us, Neanderthal men, because he's smarter and more enlightened than the millions and millions and millions of men who have had their lives absolutely wrecked by women, especially with women sleeping with other men and finding other things to do. Because there is something that is natural, that you must be substantially higher than a woman in some ways that she finds valuable to maintain that relationship. For example, if a woman had no money, would never get any money, and will never come across money, you just being rich might be the one thing that'll keep her locked into your relationship, not willing to screw any of that up. I just had to reset my video filter. I realized I was way too overexposed. But let's go back to maybe the 50s or the 60s. Women didn't have any money, so the man had the money. So that was a value to her. He was a protector because government wasn't everywhere. That was a protector to her. But my point of the video is women aren't shamed for sleeping around. Women aren't shamed for having kids out of wedlock. Women make their own money now. Women have the big daddy government looking out for them. So all the reasons to stay with a man have gone away, except for the primordial ones, which is like he's hot, or he's successful, or he's a man that is desired by other women and is popular amongst other men. Those are still desirable. Well, Destiny he's popular, but that was about the end of that. And so his girl wandered off into the weeds to find somebody else to go mess around with. But what happens to good old Destiny and his enlightenment, and I'm smarter than everybody else? Well, it turns out that what leftist streamer Destiny's finally going to go through is what many of you also have gone through, even though his girl and he are supposedly more enlightened than yourselves. Let's listen to a couple of clips here. Is this the...
Yeah, so basically...
Okay, let me make sure I got my volumes right for this. So this is these are snippets. I don't think they're in order, but I put them in order of what I think would make the most context. Here's Destiny talking about how dating is going.
Yeah, so basically, Melina reaches out to me. We have a call, and she basically tells me that I owe her for money for her apartment, and that if I want to do what's moral, because I made her leave the United States and pay to fly all of her shit back, that I should pay her like $100,000.
Her justification. So she cheats. I think, I don't have all the details. I'm sure some of you that watch him or at least pay attention to this stuff, because I personally don't care what goes on in his life, but he has a critical point, because he's a paragon of the left and socialism and sharing and poly and all this other stuff, and he's getting run through the wrecker. So I guess at some point either Either she left him, he might have cheated on her first and had plans to dump her, whatever. The point is it's falling apart. And now not only did he pay for her to leave the country, not only did he pay for her to have all her stuff flown back home, but now she's demanding $100,000 on top of that because he didn't want to be with her, and so she went home. And even if she had to go home because he didn't want to be with her anymore, the point is, all of a sudden, he's realizing, hey, you know what? When a woman decides this is over, or I decide this is over, she gets the cash and prizes. She gets to make complaints about me. She all of a sudden saying things that I disagree with and I don't think are true. But welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, my friend. Here's another clip. This one's a little bit longer. I may or may not break it up.
I'm irritated by a couple things. One thing I'm irritated about is that my ex-wife has reached out to a ton of people.
Okay, so it is now verified that they are divorced, or at least in the process of it. Because many people said, oh, how do you know he's even getting divorced? Well, there you go. It's out of his own mouth.
I'll say at least 5 mutual friends have alerted me.
Let me play this part again. This is key, and I think we missed the beginning of it.
My ex-wife has reached out to a ton of people. I'll say at least 5 mutual friends have alerted me. I have no idea how many other are affected. Basically saying that I've lied about a ton of stuff and that I am abusive. Where I guess abusive means I've lied before or cheated. That's like what abusive means now, I guess, which is chill. You know, I'm cool with that.
He says, oh, I'm chill. I'm cool with that. Well, remember, in some areas, withholding, depending on the laws, depending on the country, withholding funds from a wife is considered, harmful to the relationship. I have to bleep out that one word that he said a few times because, at least for YouTube, because for some reason that picks up on the filters and then they demonetize videos for that. He's saying, okay, well, he lied to her and she's calling that harmful, and that I didn't pay for things and that's harmful. And but you notice she didn't confront him with any of this. She's spreading the rumor to other people behind his back. Guys, does that sound familiar? That she's trying to go to all his friends and his networks and the people that are involved with in his life and is saying negative things about him, trying to tear him down, trying to ruin his life, trying to ruin his income, trying to ruin his friendships, trying to ruin his relationships, trying to ruin any support system he might have. And what does he say at the end of this? That's fine. That's chill. That's cool. Whatever. It's fine and chill and cool and whatever until she talks to a lawyer and decides to say the same thing. My ex-husband withheld money from me. He forced me to do this and leave the country. He took away the bank accounts and I didn't have access to this. I had to borrow money from friends and I had to blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And then he lied to me consistently, which turns into he lied to me, which turns into he was gaslighting me, which turns into whatever. It's already started to happen. And this has only been, a couple of weeks, a month? But here it comes. And so at the end of this, what is Destiny? Where does he finally land?
Are you swearing off all relationships? Yeah, probably. I don't know if I'm dating again. We'll see.
I won't say that he's all the way into a guy that is going his own way, but he is oftentimes, as we say, a lot of times people that see our content, and Destiny's probably one of them. He's one of those guys that would probably say this. You guys are weirdos. You're misogynistic. You're phobes. You just hate women. bro who hurt you. Well, Destiny would have been one of those guys. As a matter of fact, when he went on a lot of these podcasts and shows, he was that guy. He was telling us that we didn't understand, we weren't enlightened, and we didn't understand relationships. And in just the matter of a month of seeing how vindictive and how twisted women can become into ruining your life, ruining your reputation, ruining your friendships, ruining everything about you, and then going after your money and your credibility, everything. Where does he land at the end of this? I'm probably not going to date again. Now, maybe he's not gone his own way. Maybe he's still in purple pill land and he needs a little bit more time to have this driven home. He'll probably find some other gal and he'll think he'll be smarter and that he's learned his lesson and he can outwit whatever might come his way. He won't. It'll happen again. And then I think he'll be probably full, if not full red pill, quote unquote. He will definitely be anti-marriage, probably very strongly against anti-long-term relationship, and will then start looking at ways to protect himself from the law and being legally responsible for another woman. And then if it happens again, then it'll just be full out of the market. This is inevitably what happens to every guy that gets with the wrong woman. And that's easy to say, but the problem that so many men are running into today is this is a lot of women now. This is how a lot of women are turning out, where you think you chose a good one. No, he did not choose a good one, obviously. But even not in his extreme case of having the letting your wife go date other guys and you get to sleep with other women. And even if you take that portion of it out and you try to have just a regular relationship, you see how weird things are and how bad they are and how women just at the drop of the hat now, when they say, I don't care anymore, they can destroy you and you have very little recourse because the court systems are slowly becoming feminist. And while a lot of the laws, if you look at the laws, and you can tell in a lot of jurisdictions where, depending on who the district attorney is, depending on who the Supreme Court of a state is, depending on who makes up the court, a lot of times the law will be interpreted not based by the letter of the law. It'll be based on what the social norms is and what the public kind of opinion or viewpoint of things are. And so as long as we have a system that is boosting women and putting down men and saying that everything a man does is awful and horrible, it doesn't matter what the law says in many cases. Again, depends on the jurisdiction. So he may have done plenty wrong. I don't know. But even if he doesn't do anything wrong, the point is if she goes back to Sweden or Switzerland or whatever she's from, if the courts there are very biased against male and very in favor of women, the courts may deem he needs to pay X amount of money. They can go so far as, and I forget exactly how it works, but the courts there can have somebody here represent her in court, and a court here will sue her on her behalf. And then he has to pay the court here, and then it's a mess. Hypergamy is a thing. Women wanting to level up and date the best and move on and take the cash and prizes and get the tingles from other men, depending on, because apparently the guy that she's messing around with now is not exactly alpha male. But the point is, Destiny has learned his lesson. Destiny, if you look just at this, if you just look at this image, I don't have it zoomed way in. You look at this image of this guy, it's very blurry, I know. This man is broken. I don't get joy out of watching him be broken. I don't get a thrill out of it. I don't even get humor or a sense of self-satisfaction because I don't know him from Adam. I don't hate him. I don't like him. But when you go against what millions and millions, hundreds of millions of men are saying is wrong with dating and wrong with the courts and wrong with society, when you go against that and you laugh at us and mock us and make fun of us for what we say is validated through women's actions and videos and TikTok and TV and social media and news reports and courts and everything else, when we say, look, here's the evidence, and you say, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, and then you land in the same pot that many of us landed in, it's going to take a while for us to say, welcome to the club, brother. But at least at this point in time, I think all of us are pretty comfortable in saying, I fucking told you so. I told you so, and you didn't listen. So how smart do you feel now? Guys, if you like my work, as always, links are down below to join me over at betterbachelor.locals.com. I do 8 to 10 live streams a month over there. They're usually 4 to 5 hours long. We watch a couple of movies. We talk about modern events. We share drinks together. Great community of guys, awesome people over there. We got forums that are free speech. I'm the only moderator over there. So if you want a corner of the world where you can just speak your mind and not have any moderators removing what you want to talk about, come over and be a supporter today. It's $4. I haven't even risen my pricing. It's $4 if you do the year long, $5 if you do a month. That is what, 2 cheeseburgers at McDonald's now or whatever. Actually, it's probably close to 1 cheeseburger at McDonald's now. So come over, drop a quarter into the hat, join a great community of like-minded guys, and we will see you in the next one.